Imagine a medical condition affecting more than 2% of the US population, but scarcely mentioned in the media. It's not the flu, not diabetes, not even heart disease. This silent epidemic is gambling disorder, a condition that often goes unnoticed and misunderstood. Over 2% of Americans, that's more than 6 million people, wrestle with gambling disorder. To put this into perspective, this exceeds the number of people diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and multiple sclerosis combined. But gambling disorder isn't just an American problem. This affliction is widespread across the globe, with countries like Kenya and Uganda also seeing a significant impact. In these countries, a growing number of individuals are grappling with the devastating effects of gambling disorder, reflecting a global concern that needs attention. Unlike these well-known diseases, gambling disorder often goes undetected and untreated everywhere. In 2013, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or DSM-5, redefined gambling from a mere compulsion to a behavioral addiction. This categorization places it on equal footing with substance use disorders such as alcoholism and drug addiction. This reclassification recognizes the severity of gambling disorder and its profound impact on individuals' lives, not only in the United States, but also in countries like Kenya and Uganda. Gambling disorder is characterized by a persistent and recurring problem with gambling that disrupts personal, family, or vocational pursuits. It's not about the excitement of winning, but the inability to stop, despite the negative consequences. It's when the dice roll, the cards flip, or the slots spin, not out of entertainment, but out of a desperate need. Yet despite its prevalence and severity, gambling disorder hardly gains recognition. It's often dismissed as a lack of willpower or a moral failing, rather than recognized as a chronic disease. This lack of understanding and recognition leaves millions, America to Africa, without the help and treatment they need to recover. So why is this? Why does such a widespread and destructive disease go unnoticed? It's partially due to the concealed nature of the disorder. Unlike physical diseases, it doesn't manifest in visible symptoms. It's also due to societal attitudes that perceive gambling as a harmless pastime rather than a potential danger. Gambling is more than just a bad habit. It's a chronic disease with severe consequences, affecting lives from America to Kenya to Uganda and beyond. As we delve deeper into this silent epidemic, let's remember the millions silently suffering and pledge to shed light on this overlooked disorder. What makes gambling a chronic disease, not just an addiction? That's the question we're going to delve into in this segment. A chronic disease is defined largely by its long-lasting, and in many cases, lifelong nature. It's not something that simply goes away after a few weeks of treatment. It's a condition that, for many, becomes part of their daily existence. It's also characterized by the potential for relapse. Despite periods of improvement or remission, there is always the risk that symptoms could return or worsen. Now, let's consider gambling through this lens. When someone develops a gambling disorder, it's not just a one-time thing. It's not a phase or a momentary lapse in judgment. It's a persistent issue, one that can persist and even escalate over time. Those with a gambling disorder might go through periods where they seem to have their behavior under control, but the compulsion to gamble is always lurking in the background. And when life throws a curveball their way, they may find themselves back at the roulette wheel or the poker table, trying to chase away their problems with the thrill of a bet. Recovery from a gambling disorder isn't a straight path. It's a journey filled with peaks and valleys. There are moments of success, yes, but also moments of struggle and relapse. This is because, like other chronic diseases, gambling disorder alters the brain's reward system, making it incredibly challenging to resist the allure of gambling. The difficulty in achieving and maintaining recovery further underscores the chronic nature of gambling disorders. It's not as simple as deciding to stop. It requires constant vigilance, a strong support system, and often professional help. This is where the distinction between addiction and chronic disease becomes critical. While addiction focuses on the compulsive behavior, a chronic disease perspective acknowledges the long-term nature of the problem, the potential for relapse, and the need for ongoing management. Just like diabetes or hypertension, gambling disorder is a chronic condition that requires ongoing management. The effects of gambling disorders extend far beyond the individual. A single person's gambling disorder can ripple outwards like a stone thrown into a pond, causing waves of disruption and distress. Let's start with the most immediate impact: financial ruin. Imagine the anguish of losing your hard-earned savings, the fear of mounting debts you can't repay, or even the terror of facing homelessness. These are the harsh realities for many suffering from gambling disorders, but the cost is not purely monetary. Relationships too pay a heavy price. Trust and understanding, the cornerstones of any relationship, can be eroded by the deceit and desperation that often accompany a gambling disorder. Marriages may crumble, friendships might falter, and familial bonds could fracture under the strain. Then there's the toll on mental health. Those grappling with a gambling disorder are more likely to experience other mental health issues. Anxiety, depression, and even suicidal thoughts are significantly more prevalent among those battling this disorder. The mental health impact is a double-edged sword, with these co-occurring issues often exacerbating the gambling disorder, creating a vicious cycle that's hard to break. The societal impact too is profound. Consider the hefty cost of treatment for those with gambling disorders, a cost often borne by public health systems. Then there's the lost productivity, as individuals consumed by their disorder may struggle to maintain employment, leading to a further economic toll. And let's not forget the emotional and psychological cost to those who love and care for individuals with gambling disorders. The pain of watching a loved one self-destruct can be immeasurable, and the ripple effects of this disorder can lead to widespread feelings of guilt, shame, and helplessness. So you see, a gambling disorder doesn't just affect the person with the problem, it impacts everyone around them, and even society at large. Gambling disorders wreak havoc not only on the individuals affected, but also on their families, friends, and society as a whole. Despite the bleak outlook, there is hope for those suffering from gambling disorders. Just as with any chronic condition, the path to recovery from gambling disorders is not a straight line. It's a journey that involves patience, commitment, and a whole lot of support. But remember, it's a journey that many have embarked on and successfully completed. Let's delve into the world of treatment options available to those battling with this disorder. Firstly, therapy plays a crucial role. Cognitive behavioral therapy, for instance, helps individuals understand and change the thought processes that lead to harmful gambling behaviors. It's not about quick fixes, but about equipping individuals with the tools they need to manage their condition in the long term. Medication is another option that, while not a standalone solution, can be a valuable part of a comprehensive treatment plan. Certain antidepressants or mood stabilizers may help manage the symptoms associated with gambling disorders. However, it's important to remember that these are not magic pills, and they work best in conjunction with other forms of treatment. Self-help groups also play a significant role in the recovery process. Organizations like Gamblers Anonymous provide a supportive community for those struggling with gambling disorders. These groups offer a safe and non-judgmental environment where members can share their experiences, learn from each other, and draw strength from the collective journey towards recovery. The importance of early detection and intervention cannot be overstated. As with many chronic conditions, the earlier a gambling disorder is identified and addressed, the better the chances of successful recovery. And to those who may feel overwhelmed by the idea of recovery, take heart from the countless success stories out there. Individuals who once felt trapped by their disorder but have since reclaimed their lives. These stories serve as a potent reminder that recovery is not just a possibility, but a reality for many. It may be a tough road, but recovery from gambling disorders is achievable, and the first step is recognizing the problem. So if you or someone you know is struggling, don't despair. Help is available, and recovery is within reach.